Thanks very much, and thank you very much for the invitation to appear here. My name's Richard Bootle. I'm one of the directors of LawLab, and I'm wearing a second hat today, which is as founder of Bootle, which is a software company. Starting with LawLab, LawLab is a national high-volume transaction legal service business, focusing primarily on conveyancing. And it in itself is split between doing a sort of a back office role for other larger law firms, and also in about 2014 we started our own consumer brand, and are on track on our growth rate. We should be the largest consumer brand, national consumer brand, by the end of 2016 and 17. So we've had spectacular growth. And that obviously technology has been a key to that. Bootle is the software that has enabled that growth, and that's essentially a collaboration software that enables all parties to a transaction to collaborate and project manage that. It started with us as conveyancers, presenting our legal service and inviting in the associated professionals. But it's now software available to all professionals to deliver their service, whatever that is. So it's now delivered across in medical, engineering, multiple law, of course, property, finance. Permit me the observation that disruption to me seems to be something that everyone thinks happens to someone else. We've all sort of sat in the snug complacency of the backseat of an Uber while watching that particular industry, the beginning of the end for that industry. And I think, I think as lawyers we're very much, that charge applies very much to us. In Game of Thrones terms, if you'll permit me the observation that I think we're all a bit Lannister and Starkish. We're all fighting over this little patch of ground, again, oblivious to the White Walkers heading towards us, about to put their cold, freezing hands on our shoulders and riding their dead horses through our villages. And I'm constantly shocked by the lack of engagement in that, and this sort of sense that as lawyers we're somehow protected, that the reliance on legislation as a protection. And I make the observation that taxi drivers had licenses that protected them, but those, legislative protection is obviously incredibly changeable, and will change if consumers are not given a digital experience through lawyers' service provision. As a law firm, we're obviously in the middle of nowhere essentially, and what we faced was geographic isolation. And we used technology. We were, I suppose, the disruptor in that day was faxes and city conveyancers starting to take our clients from us in that localized area. And we were very cognizant that if we didn't change and start opening our service to cities, that we would die. We were fortunate enough to get some large corporate and government clients, and in delivering their services, what we wanted was some sort of collaboration software that enabled us to communicate not just with our client in a portal one-to-one view, but also with the other service providers who invariably, especially in legal services, also contribute to that experience. So in our case, that was agents and brokers and finance, and we had clients in Victoria, Commonwealth Government in Canberra, ourselves in Central New South Wales, an agent in Brisbane and a broker in Sydney. And the communications and the lack of visibility of our service was killing us. And so that prompted us, given that there was no such thing as what we call collaboration software now, is we built our own software and pushed that out as its own company in 2015. It's now a standalone company and available for anyone, including other lawyers, to offer their services through that.
Can you just explain to me how Bootle works?
So Bootle enables any service provider to offer their service in a digital format. So essentially you open your service to your client and deliver it on their iPhone or iPad, their preferred digital device. It gives you the steps. So the first point is that you have to be completely open. This is the service, these are the steps in my service provision. We make the client makes, so the host of the service makes that available. They then also, there's tools like a news feed. We've used a sort of a Facebook format. And just like Facebook and the personal community that we bring in through Facebook, we've got the permissions and the securities that enable each of those hosts to bring in the other service providers that sit around nearly all legal services, and we bring them in and give them visibility, multiple visibility and security around that. So our client doesn't get a one-to-one portal type experience that you might get with a bank and logging on to check your bank account. They're getting this multiple many-to-many experience that we demand in our personal lives, and we just don't have in our professional lives yet. So we've filled that niche.
Mm. And who are the white walkers for the legal profession?
Without naming names, the point is that disruption is coming in multiple methods. I mean, if you look, the largest disintermediator will be Google using the data that it has on our clients and starting to offer services. But disintermediation or disruption is coming in multiple mechanisms. An obvious one for lawyers is a service that, like Rate My Agent for real estate agents. If you start rating my lawyer, or you then suddenly have someone interposed between you and your client. In the property sector, a group that is large enough to integrate registries and wish through that integration, then offer that service direct to the customer. PEXA is an example of an LNO, but there will be more. That then seek to take your client, will then over time offer the service directly to your client. So for lawyers, as for everyone in this space, if you're not offering your service to your client's preferred digital device, then you will be disintermediated or disrupted in some way. There's absolutely nothing shorter than that.
Questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Oh, thanks. You've talked about how your company is growing significantly, and I assume some of that is with people. I mean, are you finding that you're able to hire people in Nyngan, or are you actually developing a sort of model where you're tapping into legal services all around the place?
So our model is that we have lawyers and sort of incredibly skilled practitioners in front office environment, which is in the capital cities, and they're available for clients to see if they wish, or obviously then available through Rundle or multiple technologies. And the majority of the work is done in Nyngan, so essentially sort of an onshore back office style. And Rundle enables the coordination not just between LawLab and other service providers, but within the various teams within LawLab. And so recruitment, we thought would be difficult to get great young graduates in remote central New South Wales. But we found that in offering a pretty exciting career in a fast-growing area, I think we have maybe 10 or 12 grads that have started with us over the past 12 months. And happily work from a remote environment, and we've been just pleasantly surprised in the volume and the quality of candidates we're receiving in that program.
So they're based in Nyngan?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, it's we're growing the population there as well.
Well, every little bit counts. Any other questions? Yes, Justin.
You mentioned that your service is not a one-to-one portal style. Do you see it moving to that? And if not, why not?
I see the move the other way, is that there's corporations and service providers across the board are building this portal environment. A portal is this view from me to my client and back. And no matter how good that portal experience is, it is just a one-to-one experience. For a truly fantastic client experience, you need a one-to-many or a many-to-many interaction. We don't accept the kind of one-to-one interactions in our social life. Facebook has brought us to this point. You can go to a capital city, say, hey, I'm in Brisbane tonight, and you'll have 10 people arrive at the pub or at dinner with you. And yet in our professional lives, we have nothing like that. And the thing about digital experience is, and this isn't original thought on my behalf, but the moment you have a great digital experience in one part of your life, then you demand that same digital experience or as good a digital experience in every other part of your life. And so you're never going to, if as real estate agent franchises that build a portal, they decide today they're going to build this new functionality. It takes 12 months and whatever, $1 million, $2 million. By the time they deliver that new portal experience, that portal experience is old hat. The only way to deliver the best customer experience is to deliver it in a software that keeps up to date and that does fortnightly updates in what's the latest technology.
Any other questions?
The other professionals, outside of the law, have they embraced this with open arms, or is this something that has been driven for them by the clients too? Or?
Look, I think they've.
It's a challenging question.
No, I think from a real estate agent or broker or the other people that we partner with in this space, but it's if you're a litigator, you partner with expert witnesses, and I think all those people have traditionally had a fairly difficult relationship with their lawyer. I don't think we're great people to work with in general. I don't think we've kind of been a bit haughty and very much, this is my space and you work in those terms. So to have a law firm that embraces them and encourages them to help deliver that service has obviously resonated fantastically, and there are more Rundles hosted by them, and it's their journey, which we only play a peripheral role in, than there are lawyers hosting journeys. So it's taken off very quickly there.
Have you found that? Have you found that through these collaborative forums that they've actually helped you get other work? So, for example, real estate agent might have gone, "This is fantastic. I'm now going to, whenever I get other clients, I want them to use your firm," and they've effectively become sort of referral services for you?
They do. It's obviously, and it's what drives our growth is the network effect. Someone experiences that not only from the software point of view, but also from the law firm point of view. Someone gets updates the moment that we exchange the contract, that exchange contract's available, so they're not on the phone to their lawyer ringing up asking where it is. Their client isn't being asked to project manage between multiple service providers. The experience then obviously drives both, I'd like to host my own Rundles, but also I'd like to use that law firm. But I mentioned, especially in this environment, is that a year ago we made the decision that it was more important from a network point of view to have other lawyers hosting their services in there. It wasn't something that we were going to make exclusively for LawLab, and that's being taken up in not just in the property space by other lawyers, which is really exciting.